You mentioned their defense to be a little bit different. You guys had turnovers today, high 24. How much of that do you attribute to, their defense and just the ball handling issues?
No, their defense is excellent. They're top in the country in several, and in our league in several defensive categories, and they have 36 at halftime, and 31 of those points are off of their transition and off of our turnovers. Right? I think they had 21 points off of our turnovers and 15 in transition, and that's their plan A, and we gave it to them. I thought we did a much better job in the second half of controlling that some. And then we just gotta, see the ball go in the hole. But that was one of the fears. Yolet's got them playing at a high level on the defensive end of the floor and offensively as well. And so we knew we would have our challenges there.
What about the games there going into the fourth quarter? And don't have a good fourth quarter. What's your thoughts on the fourth quarter?
We ran out of gas. We run out of gas, and we've got to have some resiliency at that point. We've got to bow our back and fight through it a little bit. And we put so much pressure on every single shot, and then when it doesn't go in, it's just a letdown, and that letdown leads to not doing what we're supposed to do on the defensive end, and we can't let one affect the other. But we run out of gas.
How do you coach the girls, especially with the thin bench at the moment, to, I guess, go throughout the game, having an experience like this and, an early first half, the next game, not be thinking, I want to take it easy now so I have gas later in the game. How do you kind of go about that?
Well, I think the point there is at any point, if you decide to go easy, that's when you lose the game. There is no such thing as saving yourself. We save them in practice. We don't do anything full court. We came back Friday and had a walkthrough, and so that's where we're trying to take care of them. But when it's time to play, you got to play, because in this league, you save yourself, you get driven by, you get the ball taken from you. Like, there's no way to play in this league without playing all out all the time.
Coach, and you talk about finding different ways to measure success this season. So specifically with today, where are you looking as positives to take from this one?
Yeah, I think we came out in the third and fourth quarter and were much better at taking care of the basketball and not letting it result in points for them. For example, one of the things I told them, they're going to press us the entire game. I would rather have a 5-second count and set our defense than turn it over and send them off to the races. And there was a point that happened in the game. And I get it. People are probably saying, what the heck? Thank you, Sydney Bowles, for eating the ball. That's what we told her to do. And so it goes back to, if you're not in our locker room every day and if you're not in our huddle, then you don't have an opinion on what it is we're doing. She did exactly what I told her to. If you don't feel it, if you don't see it, eat it, we'll set our defense. And so that's a win. That's a small success. They're listening. We were able to get the ball inside. That was one of the things we talked about doing. Jada and Patty both were able to get it in the paint. Patty by driving, Jada by posting. Those were one of the things that we thought we could do. So those are ways that we try to measure, are we getting better? Are we following the plan?
I think it's 5 losses in a row now. So how are you just trying to keep their heads up and keep them positive?
Well, we talk about, like, look, you got South Carolina, then you have Florida, then you go to LSU, then you have Ole Miss, and Tennessee's coming to town, right? Ole Miss should be ranked. Florida's not. That's 3 out of 4 that are possibly ranked opponents. That's this league. The only way to know how to play in this league is to go through it. And this is the first time that any of these players have gone through it. We keep their head up by, again, measuring the success, right? These were areas that we won. These were things we wanted to come out and control and dictate, and we did this. These are areas that we did not. Now, why didn't we? And what could we have done differently to control those factors? They've been excellent. They've received it. They've been great. And I, expect for that to continue.
You mentioned you got good production inside the first 3 quarters, but couldn't get anything outside.
Mm-hmm.
Was that because your ball screens weren't working against their defense, or some of them not that knowledgeable about? You didn't looked like you didn't get a lot of good looks.
No, what we didn't. Maya Taylor's excellent on ball defender. She bothered us some out there. We couldn't really get good clean looks with her when she was in the game, and they took turns putting her on different people. She started out on KK, and then she put her on. She went to Sydney Bowles late, and so that's, again, just our guards having an understanding of getting open, making the right shot, taking the right shot. They took away some of the things from our guards that we're used to getting.
You talked earlier in the week about just finding ways to compete in this conference and just, learning about what that process is like. What did they show you with being able to not only kind of have an early comeback there in the first quarter and then, you know, at least get those stops in the fourth quarter
Yeah.
to give yourself a chance to come back if you made some money of it.
Well, there was a point we called a timeout, or it was a media timeout. I went to media, and they were gassed, and you could tell they were on the brink. Like you could look at them and tell like they're having a conversation with themselves, like how is this gonna go? And it's just like, hey, don't do this, right? Let's fight. You know, this is your break right now. Go out, get stops. And so it's many goals within the game too. Sometimes we will say like, hey, to finish this quarter, we need to get within 8. We need to get within 5. To finish this quarter, they can't score any more points, or they can't score any more than 6 points, 8 points. So every quarter has its different challenges and goals as well. And that's how we can keep them focused on, again, dream big, focus small. That's those small games within the game that we also use to measure and to keep them locked in. It's not always about looking at the scoreboard. It's about, this is the score right now. When we get to halftime, this is what the score needs to be. Or this is the score right now, and when the game is over, they can't have this many points, and we need to get to this number. And so those are different things that we do to keep them engaged and try to keep them focused on what is it right now that we can do.
I was reading last night, does the SEC have a rule on suited players? 'Cause Connecticut's not playing
Correct.
today because of X amount of scholarship players.
Yeah.
Does the SEC have that?
They had one for COVID. It was
Just
the
for
same.
COVID.
It was, and I think that it's continued now. It's the same rule. You've got to have 7 players and 1 coach. 7 players and 1 coach. If you get below 7, and you don't have a coach, then you can't play.
There's said 7 scholarship. Is that the SEC rule? Or is it 7 scholarship players?
I think it's 7.
Okay.
I'd have to go back and double check that.
I just wondered because
Yeah.
I read that for the first time.
Yeah, I know it was put in during COVID.
Okay.
And then I want to say it has continued up until this point.
Because there are a lot of injuries. It's nothing to do with COVID.
Yeah,
Just
no,
didn't know.
correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wondered.
Mhm.
Not that you want to get there, but I'm just.
No.
I just wonder what it was.
Yeah.
We're good? Alright, thank you all.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
Joey.